My only brother. I was an only child and jealous of my friends who had a brother or a sister with whom to play. I felt small and alone. Then, when I was 10 years old, my little brother Adelbert was born. He was handsome with black hair, red cheeks, and black eyes. I was happy to have a brother. I loved the little boy, and he liked to be with me. He took his first steps, balanced with his hands, and with a smile, he ran into my arms. I felt so joyous that I cried. Adelbert was close to my heart. It gave me great satisfaction when our mother trusted my little brother to my care. I planned to go together with him to the park when he grew up and to the hills to pick wild strawberries, blackberries, and wildflowers for our mother. Our father also had plans for his only son's bar mitzvah and the school he would attend. Maybe Adelbert would be a doctor or perhaps a lawyer or a mechanic. In the spring, when my brother was born, the Nazis invaded Czechoslovakia. The winds of the Second World War began to blow over our heads, but no one could have imagined what would follow next. Fate changed our family's life, and our dreams would not come true. The storm that struck Europe. Those who were born in the late 1920s or in the 1930s missed the prior worry-free life before the Second World War. But in Europe's problems began much earlier, even before World War I. Many people died during that war, and life afterward was difficult. There was a depression. Whose fault was it? It was easier to blame a group of people. Which nation could be blamed for everyone's difficult and harsh life? It must be a nation without a homeland, a group of people who have no country of their own. That nation would be an easy target, and the depression could be blamed on those people. They had no country on earth to call their own. By blaming Jews in the 1920s and 30s, a fanatical German leader, Adolf Hitler, united his countrymen. The slogan, "Kill the Jews," was music to the ears of the Nazis and their collaborators. In the storm that swept through Europe, Jews were easy prey. They had no homeland, they had no refuge. In this storm, my people were robbed of their possessions and their lives. Hungarian invasion. People in Europe were suffering. Everyone was struggling. Depression is like a locust that eats everything in its path. As after a fire, only bare ground remains. In the market, there was plenty of food, but few had money to buy it. No work, no income. But even though life was harsh, we were home together and we had our freedom. Soon, more problems arose. On September 10th, 1940, the Hungarian takeover of my part of Romania brought devastation to the local inhabitants. The new government seized treasures, looted everything, and took control of the border. We were now part of Hungary. Day by day, life got harder. Hungarians brought misery with them. Coupons were distributed. Food, clothing, and shoes were rationed. Jews were blamed for the lack of goods. The new government seized Jewish belongings and property and gave them away for free to loyal Hungarians. Local Hungarians were happy for a while, but they got greedy and demanded more. Harsh new laws hit the Jews. Restrictions were issued for travel and schooling. Curfews were implemented. Men were drafted into forced labor and other injustices. It was spring, it was warm, the sun was shining. Meadows were green, trees and flowers were blooming, but it was dark and cloudy for Jews. To appease the locals and the Germans, the Hungarian government forced Jews out of their homes, out of their cities. Then they gave the Jews to the Nazis.